New year, new boutique owner, ready to grow their business, drive sales, and increase their following by setting some awesome goals that will really help you take your business to the next level. So let's talk about my 2023 recommendations for brand new clothing boutique owners to set this year to help them grow their business. Now, if you've been in business for about a year or so, a lot of these on the list will still apply to you. You probably haven't done all of these, and you can obviously pick and choose which ones make the most sense for you. So let's get into it. So the first one is going to be to find and attend and participate in 10 local pop-up events or vendor events. Actually, they don't even have to be local because you can find some that are out of state and travel to them. But the point is to go to an event in person and bring in your clothes and sell to people in person. Now, the reason for this is because if you're a brand new online clothing store owner and you're struggling to get sales outside of your friends and family, if you're struggling to get strangers to shop from you online, pop-up events are the best way to increase sales in a short amount of time and start to build a local following wherever that location is, and build a following in general of customers who are interested in your store, and they might come back and then 6 months later go to your website and shop from you again. So in-person events are probably the best way to drive sales when you're just starting out. So my recommendation for you is to find 10, at least 10 to participate in. But it doesn't have to be 10. If you only do 2 this year, that's still better than if you had done 0. So my goal for you is to try to source some awesome vendor events to participate in. And if you want to learn more about pop-up events, I have a whole playlist dedicated to everything from how to plan a pop-up event, where to find pop-up events, what kind of things you need to buy and bring to your pop-up event, how to make your booth stand out and attract customers, everything you can need. I've even got pop-up vlogs from my pop-ups this past year and years previous. So definitely check them out if you want to learn more. And now, goal number 2 is to create 30 reels in 30 days. And this could also be 30 TikToks in 30 days or 30 YouTube shorts in 30 days. There's so many social media platforms that are promoting the short form video content right now. So it's one of the best ways to organically get your store out there from home, I'll say, because like I said, for number 1, pop-up events are one of the best ways to, drive customers. But organically, from social media perspective, these TikToks, Reels, Shorts are the best way to grow your social media accounts in 2023. So you should definitely take the time to create content to post. And my goal for you, it's a little ambitious, so if you'd rather do 20 in 20 days or 20 in 30 days, whatever makes sense for you. Obviously, pick a number that's reasonable for you, but I highly encourage you to just go all out there and do 30 reels in 30 days. And let me know how it goes for you. I've got videos with some examples of what clothing boutique owners do in terms of creating content, like some inspiration ideas to help you get the juices flowing and think about how it's actually not that hard to go ahead and start creating these. You don't even have to have a model in all of them. I have a lot of videos where there was no person in the video, but they were actually maybe not very, but viral videos that store owners produced that brought in sales. So I'll link to that video in the description bar as well down below. In addition to the pop-up videos, I'll link down below as well. So, and then let's talk about number 3. That's going to be take a photography class. Now, if you are a clothing store owner, or really any online store owner in general, you must have realized by now that it's very important to have good product photos for your website and for social media. Because if you are taking blurry photos in 2023, no one's going to buy from you. Because there's an expected level of standard that people expect these days that you probably could get away with lower quality content photos, 10 years ago, but hey, it's 2023. Take a photography course and start to learn how to use your camera, whether that's an expensive fancy smancy camera or if it's just your smartphone. You can take great photos from your smartphone when you're just getting started, but you should probably learn a couple of things about things like lighting and angles and all of that good stuff, all the settings on your camera, and also how to edit photos. So number 3, take a photography course. Number 4, along the same lines, is hire a model. So if you are a clothing store, you want to move away from using stock photos. If you're buying your wholesale products from wholesalers, a lot of them have product photos that you can ask their permission to use on your website, but I recommend getting away from that and taking your own product photos, because you want to put your brand on it and you don't want to be generic like everyone else using the same photos. You want to put your own brand spin on things and take your own product photography for your website so people learn about your brand's aesthetic and style, things like that. So whether you are going to be the one who models your clothing, or if you're not comfortable modeling, then you need to hire someone. So you either need to hire a photographer let me take that back. You probably don't need to hire a photographer. If you have a friend and you're the model, your friend can take your photos, especially in the beginning. But if you're not comfortable, once again, to get in front of the camera, you probably need to hire a model. All I'm saying. Now, the next one, number 5, is hire an employee. So this is kind of more of a stretch goal for once your business starts to grow and take off. Eventually you'll get to a point where you can't do everything yourself. You find yourself staying up all hours of the night just to package and ship your products, and then that takes away time from you being able to focus on marketing and taking these 30 reels in 30 days. So eventually you need to get to a point where you are able to hire help. And that might not be a goal you want to work on early on in the year, but maybe that can be a goal for you by the end of the year. Now, number 6, it's a little bit different. It's something that I think would be fun for you to experiment with, because it could be a really great strategy to drive sales. And that is to create basically like, not a marketing package, like a promo package, if that's what you want to call it, to send to an influencer or multiple influencers, where you are sending them products for free, and you're not, in this scenario, you're not necessarily paying them to promote your products, but you're giving them your products away for free, because maybe you don't have the budget to afford the ability to pay the influencer to take products and tag you in it. But what happens is a lot of these influencers, as you've likely seen on YouTube or TikTok or wherever, they do unpackaging videos where they open packages they received from brands and unbox them and share what they are getting and who the brand is with their following as they're creating videos. So there's a chance that they might love your product enough that they open it on camera and then share it with their followers. Or maybe they don't film an unboxing video, but they do instead, they maybe unbox it on their own time, and then they're wearing the product and they just happen to tag you at a later point. So it's kind of a shot in the dark because you don't know if they will actually share your products at all. I mean, there's a chance that they get your product and they never post anything about it at all, but you never know. And it doesn't hurt to have fun and kind of experiment. You can work with your accountant on how to write that off. Could be, well, actually I'm not going to give any suggestions around what the accountant can write it off as, because I'm not an accountant and I don't give accounting advice. But back to what I was saying, it's a fun way to see if you can get your name out there without spending a lot of money. You do, of course, like I said, have to give away a product for free, but you can experiment with big influencers who have a massive following, or you can try micro influencers. And I think what's cool about micro influencers is that, you know, they're still growing their following and they probably don't receive nearly as many packages from brands, so they are going to be more likely to record themselves unboxing your package and share your brand because they don't get as many. So, hey, it's an experiment. If it doesn't work out for you, then you don't ever have to do it again, or maybe you learn, you do more research and find out which influencers might fit better with your brand. If there's a particular influencer that wears the same style clothing that you're selling, maybe that would be a better fit. So you kind of just have to experiment it and see what works. Now, number 7, kind of the same idea again, but in a different sense. So what this one is hire a brand ambassador or an affiliate who, they are not necessarily going to be influencers, but maybe they are people you know that have a decent size following, and they can receive products from you at a discounted cost. So maybe you're not giving them the product for free, but you give them, 50% off even, and it could even be 20% off. I mean, it just kind of depends on what your strategy is and who they are, but you're giving them products and then they're going to be expected to promote your product, but you're not paying them a fee. You're just letting them purchase from you at a discounted cost. And there are other strategies where you could do affiliate marketing, where maybe it's a blogger and you give them a code and they post about your product, your website, and then they get a percentage of all of the sales that they drive to your website. There's a lot of apps that you can set that kind of thing up through. So try something like that. Once again, we're just kind of in your first year as an online store owner. You're learning a lot about marketing and you don't necessarily know what you're doing, but the best way to learn is to experiment and try and figure out what works for you and what doesn't, alongside with taking online marketing classes, digital marketing classes specifically for e-commerce and Shopify store users, I'd recommend, and then watching YouTube videos, of course, to learn more tips. So you want to do everything you can to learn about marketing, and while you're doing that, experiment. So all of these goals, aside from really taking the photography course, there are more things for you to experiment with, and with the photography course, you can, of course, experiment while you're taking the course by actually taking photos. So literally all of these are basically trying to get you to get out there, take action, and do things. Even if they don't all pan out, you are at least learning what doesn't work, if that makes sense. Because that's what being a business owner is finding a strategy that works for you. And then once you figure out what does work for you, start to learn how to replicate it and do it over and over and over again. And then experiment with other things to see if they do or don't work and go from there. Now, number 8 is, this one's not a marketing strategy at all, but I encourage you guys to go to an in-person Apparel Mart, specifically if you purchase from wholesale vendors. So if you're designing your own clothing, then you don't need to necessarily go to an Apparel Mart. But if you're purchasing wholesale, a lot of people stick to using the wholesale vendors' websites. And if you are looking for websites, I've got all sorts of videos and a free list you can download. I'll link to that in the description bar as well, where you can download my list of 40 plus wholesale vendors that I recommend, or watch my video playlist. I've got all sorts from like Western wear, wholesale vendors, plus size, I'm working on a petite size wholesale vendor list that will be in the works in the next month or so. And then I've got everything like children's, mommy and me, all sorts of wholesale vendors. So I'll link to my wholesale vendor videos in the description bar as well. Lots of things for you guys to check out. You might as well just go ahead and subscribe at this point so you get so you see all of these amazing videos that will help you out in your business. No plug or anything right there. Yeah, but what I was saying, so attend an in-person Apparel Mart because you can meet the wholesale vendors in person. The other way that people get stuck is they rely on websites like Fair and Fashion Go to find wholesale vendors, but they're never getting to know the wholesale vendors in person, and they're never, you know, examining the quality in person before they purchase. And I'm always surprised every time I go to an apparel event, because at this point, like, I know which vendors I like and don't like for my store, but I'll go to one and all of a sudden a vendor that I've never even cared for, you know, I've walked past a million times, looked at their booth and never really had any strong inclination to go over and talk to them. All of a sudden I'm being drawn to a style that they're selling that I'm like, hey, this is actually what I was trying to incorporate, because, you know, I've seen that this is going to be a trend next year and I haven't seen any other vendors offering this. So when you go to in-person vendor events, you get to see what's upcoming. A lot of these vendors, they don't post what they're selling at Apparel Marts on their websites until months later, and they don't even put all of the products from Apparel Marts on their website. So you literally get a firsthand look, and you get access to more styles when you go in person. So there are so many in-person events, Apparel Marts. The big ones are going to be in Atlanta at America's Mart. You've got one in Dallas, Chicago, and then you can also go to New York and Vegas for Apparel Marts as well. So what I'm trying to say is some of these, like the Atlanta and Dallas one, they have year-round showrooms that you can go to at any point when they're open during the week and shop. Whereas the ones in New York and Vegas, and now I'm remembering there's one in Nashville now too, those are once or twice a year. So you have to go at those designated times. I do recommend going at the designated times because you get all of the temporary vendors coming in specifically for that event. Whereas when you're going to, let's say, America's Mart in Atlanta, if you're just going on a random Wednesday, you're only going to be able to look at what they have in their permanent showrooms. So there's going to be more to choose from when you go at the dedicated Apparel Mart times. And on that note, I've got lots of videos where I talk about the schedule for 2023. So I have posted the schedule for all of the 2023 Apparel Marts. I also have the home and decor Marts schedule in a video as well. And then I've also vlogged my experience going to Apparel Marts. Another one that I forgot to mention is if you're interested in swimwear, there's one in Miami. It's usually in July, and I have a video about my experience going to that one as well. Okay, my camera cut off, so I'm going to start over with number 9. Number 9 is to find your new favorite wholesale vendor, because when you're attending these in-person Apparel Marts, you're going to meet the vendors and you're going to figure out who your favorite vendor is, and you're going to work to build a relationship with them, because in this industry, just like every other industry, it's very important to network and build relationships. Because let's say that there is an issue with your order, or maybe something needs to change and you realize after you place the order, if you have a contact that you can either call up or email and they can help you out because you have that established relationship with them and you order from them all of the time because they are exactly what your customers love to buy, it's the perfect style for your customers, and you've built that relationship, then they're going to be more likely to help you out when there's an issue, and they will be faster to resolve it. And it's just important to build relationships with vendors. And it's also helpful to know like what your go-to vendor is if you are, you know, getting ready for the following season and you're kind of overwhelmed and you don't have a lot of time. You know your favorite vendor, you know they have great quality, they have great customer service, you have that relationship, then you can, you know, order with them more often and just have that sense of trust that you know that what you're ordering is going to come in and be great and perfect for your customers. So build relationships and network. And then lastly, this one, I feel like I wanted to throw this in here because it's something that like people talked about more often maybe 5 years ago, I feel like. I mean, people still talk about this and it's still a huge thing, but I just feel like you hear about it less when you're watching like TikTok and you're seeing marketing tip videos. Like, I just feel like this is one people have been forgetting about lately, and that is to remember how advantageous it is to have an email list, an email subscription list, because the thing about your email list is that that is one of the only things that you are going to own. When it comes to social media, your account could get closed down anytime, or sometimes, I don't know if you remember, there was a time last year where all of a sudden Instagram was down for like a couple hours. I don't remember the exact time frame, but all these brands online were freaking out because that's how they drive sales and make sales. So if you have your email subscription list, one, it's a very powerful tool, especially if you are sending them out on a regular basis and are very strategic about when you offer discounts. And, you know, maybe you offer discounts to your email list before you post about it on social media, and you build that relationship with your email subscribers. People, like me personally, I love to open an email and then get a discount code, you know, a seasonal discount code, and then immediately go shop from their website based off of something I saw in the email. So it seems like it's, you know, becoming obsolete to focus on email marketing in 2023 because we're all so focused on video content. But I just want to remind you, do not forget about it. So my goal, number 10 for you, is to send out weekly emails to your email subscription list and to work on building that email subscription list. They'll offer a discount code for everyone that signs up for your email list and accepts marketing. It's going to be a great asset for you long term and can help you drive sales. All right, so that was all 10 of them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. I mentioned only about 1,000 videos that I want you to check out in my description bar based off of all the topics I talked about today. I've gone into further details and elaborated and given you examples and inspiration and all the good things in past videos I've made. And with that, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because I'm creating content on a weekly basis right now. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that. And with that, I hope you guys have a wonderful, amazing 2023, and let's accomplish these goals together.